whether you want to believe it or not, like you are so influenced by the people around you,
Mhm.
like it's very interesting, like the magnetism of nature and humans and people, and how if you can pinpoint what it is that you want to see more of, like more of that will find you.
Awesome. Well, I'm Adam, and this is a podcast about you and your journey in music. And we'll talk about the new song you have coming out, or that you just released, but you have an album coming out as well.
Yes.
Sweet. First off, born and raised. Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Washington, out on the peninsula in the middle of nowhere, just a bunch of trees, me and a piano,
Oh,
basically.
that's awesome. Very cool. And so piano was it the first instrument you learned how to play?
Yeah, definitely the one I felt most drawn to. I've got like not big enough hands to play guitar, really. It was always really hard. I tried to play guitar early, and then I realized pretty quickly that piano was going to be my instrument.
Okay.
A little easier. So that's what I write all of my songs on. Yeah.
You come from a musical family?
No, I come from the antithesis of a musical family.
Okay.
My mom sorry, mom, very tone deaf. My dad loves music, but is in no way like involved or anything. He sings the occasional Johnny Cash and karaoke, but that's about as far as it goes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then what drew you to piano? Like, how old were you when you started playing?
I was just that kid that just came out the womb like wanting to sing. My mom said that I just was singing all day, every day, and and so when I started going to church, my pastor was like, she should be in choir or be doing something musical. And so that's kind of where I started my journey was in church.
Okay. Were you in like the choir there, the gospel group there?
Yeah, it was a, predominantly white Presbyterian church. So it was just a lot of like basic hymns and maybe the occasional solo. But my youth pastor, Mr. Don Dilly, he just really kind of took me under his wing. He was very, very musical. His kids were, very well trained, professionally trained vocalists, all three of them. And he kind of saw that I was from this family that didn't understand me. And so he was like, well, you can come hang out with us. We're super musical. So he taught me, piano and how to form a song and all of these things.
Wow. So he really mentored you then.
He really did. Yeah. He caught it early and was like, not, I mean, probably like 11, 12 years old is when I kind of started really pursuing music.
Okay. Wow. So how old were you when you started singing though in the church?
Um, Probably about that. Yeah, probably 10 or 11.
Okay.
I would just sing Disney songs, running around my house up until then, Little Mermaid, Lion
Hmm.
King, all these things.
Sure.
And finally my family was like, we need to send you somewhere where you can just go sing.
That's so he was your youth pastor then he taught you how to play piano? Like you didn't know how to play it prior to that or didn't have yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
And
say.
he's the one who pushed my parents to be like, this is something that you need to, you should cultivate this with her because such a natural interest in it, right? And at the time they were kind of pushing me to be in basketball, which I stopped growing at like 11. So I think they
Oh.
realized I think they realized pretty quickly that my
That
career
wasn't
wasn't
the
going to be in
sport?
basketball.
Sure.
Yeah. To my dad's dismay, of course. He's got three
Oh,
girls.
huge basketball player?
He's just a sports guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
But yeah, no, Miss Don Dilly, he was kind of the first one who helped introduce me and make me feel good and safe around music, and that it wasn't, crazy, that I was obsessed with it. And then from there got into school and do choirs in school and all of that.
Were you I mean, aside from the church, you said he was helping you write songs as well?
Yeah, he was a great, I
Okay.
mean, he is a great artist, and all of his kids are great artists as well. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while. I wonder what he's doing actually, now that what's up, Don Dilly?
Yeah, yeah. No, so I mean, at 11, 12, or whatever, how old I mean, you said young, that sounds like it's like middle school era. Like, were you writing songs then, like, in high school? Did you have your own songs that you were performing? Like, when did that start for you?
I was writing poems. It's actually kind
Okay.
of funny because it for some reason it took me a minute to like realize that like poems and were just or songs were just poems with music. And so I was
Mhm.
writing a lot of poetry. Like I've always been heavy on the writing. I didn't really know how to communicate well early on in life, like my feelings and stuff. And so writing was really how I would get these things out. So I had my first poem published when I was 11. And then
Wow. Where was
um,
it published at? That's crazy.
I know I need to find this poem actually. I'm not sure. My mom has it somewhere. I need to look into that. So I'll follow up with you. I'll
Yeah, please do.
find it. Yeah. Yeah.
So you had a published poem 11, and then at what point did you kind of realize, oh, hey, these poems I can just put, some piano chords over and make a song?
Right. It wasn't until I was like probably like 16,
Oh,
17.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was heavy into the writing scene for a while. And then in high school, I was like, all right, let me audition for the choir. And I got into the jazz choir and I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Like, let's test this out. And jazz was really where I flourished.
Okay. That's cool. And from there, did you like at what point did you start showing people your songs? Was that much later?
Gosh, I know when I was just kind of going through some of my old videos. So the first video that I ever posted was, I think like 2006, maybe.
Mhm.
And it was just me with like one of those like clinky little keyboards at my aunt's dining room table. Love me, love me, love me, love me good, love me, love me, love me. It was like, and I posted it on Craigslist, and that's how I found my first band member. I was like, hey, I'm looking for a band, I think I was like
Oh, wow. That almost
17.
sounds sketchy, like throwing up on Craigslist.
I have always had great experiences on Craigslist.
That's good.
I don't know.
Wow. All right.
I found my bass player, Matt Wexler. He was my very first bass player, and he played bass with me for like years. I mean, probably almost a decade.
Wow. And so
Mm.
you found him, and the two of you would just
He
go.
responded to my ad. I was living
Okay.
because Seattle, there's a lot of water and stuff up there.
Sure.
So I was living across the ferry across the water. So he took a ferry to come and meet me in my small town, and we met at a Starbucks. And he was like, "So tell me about yourself." I'm like, "I want to be a singer. I want to be an artist. I just want to try it out." And he's like, "Well, I play in a bunch of jazz bands up in Seattle. I think that you've got some talent. Whether it be like unrefined or not. Like, I'm
Mhm.
down to introduce you to some people and see what shakes out." And yeah, I mean, he really took me under his wing and got me connected with all like the baddest players in Seattle, really.
That's cool. And were you then you just joined other bands, and were you performing your own songs at that point or no?
Yeah, I was doing my own stuff, but just really like had no idea really what I wanted my sound to be. I was really big on like staying super organic. Like
Okay.
my first album was recorded on tape, like, you know what I mean?
There you go.
I was like, I'm gonna be super original and authentic and like this real, I don't none of this. It was like early, it was like I guess around everything was over, produced and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
What was that first
2011,
recording, the
2000.
one that's on your Spotify? The one that's on tape? The Long Night one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So
have to
that was
go back
recorded
and re-listen
full.
to try see if I can hear that. That's cool. That's a bold move. I mean, tape is, a little bit more pricey than just hitting record and then delete.
Yeah, no, it was very pricey. I probably spent like $5,000 on that album. Just between the learning curve and the mistakes and everything. And
Yeah.
but it was worth it, I think. I had a good job at the time. I was a wedding planner.
Mm.
Um, and it
Did
was
you
just
book yourself?
I have yeah, I did. Come on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love working at venues. Event planning has kind of been the thing that has sustained my career throughout. It's just a great way to connect with people. I encourage as many artists as possible, especially independent, like get in with some venues and learn how to plan events. Like it's a job that will help your career,
Mhm.
and pays well.
Sure. So then moving forward, you were able to like contact these venues and say, "Hey, I want to perform here," and you kind of knew what the process looked like.
Yeah, yeah, that job like really helped make me aware of how things work on the back end of like booking events and what people are looking for. And like, how do you approach a venue, not just as an artist looking for an opportunity, but it's somebody who can provide them value. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like created this little, I was like, oh, okay. It made me think about things in a little bit of a different way, which inspired me to start Parke Ave, which was my artist networking collective, where we would throw monthly events for artists and trying to educate artists on how to be more entrepreneurial and, all of these things.
Oh, wow. Okay. So are you still doing that now? I know you are really entrepreneurial. I know I can't speak very well. But you have like a package of like, the Scarlet and this mic and, like kind of like these things to get people kind of started in this
Yeah.
career.
Yeah, that is the thing I did get from my parents, but they're big entrepreneurs, started a restaurant. My mom owned a catering business, like definitely saw a lot of that growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And have always just been kind of like not great with authority. So being an entrepreneur is the best option for
Sure.
me.
Be your own boss.
Right. So yeah, Parke Ave is going to be making a comeback soon. We hosted a stage at South by Southwest last year.
Wow. That's
15
big.
different artists that flew in from all over the country. It was amazing, super talented. That's how I met El Baez, who is the co-writer of 369. We met at the South by Southwest Festival, and just everybody who played at that stage, it was it was honestly one of the craziest experiences of my life. My partner ended up getting locked up in jail and using my sponsor money to get out. Is like that's what I'm
Oh,
told he did with
wow.
the money. I never saw the money, and I ended up it was just wild. Like 5 days before the festival, we find all of that out. And so me and all of my artists were like running around trying to figure out how to like get a stage and like all this stuff. So we're just kind of bonded forever because of that experience.
Jeez. Well, no, I want some follow-ups on this. Is that like, are you still with this person?
No, hell no.
Okay.
This was a friend.
Like that's a trip. So this person does something, gets arrested, and then takes the money that you had to put the whole thing together. And
Obviously, this is what I've been told. Yeah, this is what I've been told.
All right.
Has completely evaded. Like, I've never been able to get a hold of him or talk to him ever since this.
Oh, maybe he's still locked up.
No,
He's
out there. Yeah, he's out there doing his thing.
Oh gosh.
But I just kind of had to choose to walk away, and just like every bone in my body was like, I want to do something horrible to you, but I need to just
you don't want to land in that spot too.
I don't want to do that. But it was, he was a friend of mine from Seattle that I had known for years and planned events with before, somebody I thought I could trust. And 5 days before this huge festival that we've been planning with tons of people, tons of sponsors, like he's been on every call and, he's shown up, he's been there, my fault in all of it is that I didn't get the money up front and like didn't have a contract with him because he was my friend. Right. And so that was a great lesson. But he ended up just totally dodging me until now. I've never heard from him. But the city of Austin really like rallied. I was posting it on social media being like, SOS, like I need a stage, I need a sound system, like I need for like basically free, like I'm getting screwed over. I have 15 artists flying in from all over the United States, like help.
Oh my gosh.
And people like kind of just were like, I saw what's going on, how can I help? And some random old like farmer guy was like, I've got a stage you can use. It was just iconic, to be honest.
So did he like take it? How did that happen then? Did you have a venue, or was it like everybody come out to this dude's farm and let's do this?
No, I had the venue and everything secured. Like I'm an event planner by trade. Like the thing was planned. Like it was set up. It was ready to go. We had a huge outdoor venue in East Austin on 6th Street, Rich's Art, Mira Studios. And it was great. I mean, we had hundreds of people end up coming out. One, because the artists were great, and two, because they were like, we heard there's this girl out here who's like going through this thing. And it was like definitely a catalyst for a lot of things, because there are people, it really shifted how I work with people. And it shifted, I think, how a lot of people view me as well, because they literally saw me pull a music festival out of my, what, in 5 days, yeah. Okay. Uh,
Whoa, that's wild. So, oh my
yeah.
gosh. So this person, what, how did they drive they hitch it on the back of their truck and bring in the stage?
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So he shows up and he's like, he's like, he helped me set it up. All the artists were there helping me put the stage together. Like it was some real indie shit.
Damn. So, and then
Mhm.
you said one of the artists that played that stage was one of the people that helped you write 369.
Yeah. Yeah. So her and I, and then we also just recently went on tour, the very first tour, indie tour ever sponsored by Victoria's Secret.
No way.
Yeah. So her and I she just applied randomly online. I'd never met her before. Somebody sent her the link to apply for the festival. And here we are, like a year later, just
So
rocking
she
369.
applied to be on your to play the festival, and then you booked her on your stage, and then you tour together. And how do you get Victoria's Secret involved?
This was also what was so crazy. It's like a very 369 moment. And I'll explain what that means in a second.
Yes, please do.
So she calls me. First of all, I get rid of all my stuff in LA. I decided to move out of LA in July. And I'm like, I just feel like something like I need to be available. Like I need to kind of be a nomad for a minute. I need to reconnect, maybe go back to my hometown, which I did, and reconnect and write my music. And this is also when I was testing out the Dream Girl producer bag and how portable it is and how, where can all the places you can go with it and produce. But I get this call from Elle and she's like, I have this big tour planned. I've spent months planning it. And the headliner is no longer able to be a part of it. The person that I was splitting, all the costs and everything with, she's no longer able to be a part of it. Like, would you want to go on this tour with me? And, it'll cost this much. And I'm like, how about we 369 it? And which is basically manifesting in the form of journaling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I discovered and started learning about at the beginning of 2020, because I was like, okay, the world is ending. I cannot come out of this like the same like girl that I went in. I need to learn how to hack life. Like I need to learn how to hack my mindset and really push myself to this next level, because I've just kind of been at this right here for like a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the thing that bridges the gap between here and here? And you hear all these legendary artists and entrepreneurs and people who are super successful talk about the power of mindset, power of manifestation. So I get really deep into that. Nikolai Tesla, all these things, right? So 369 is where you write down basically your dream, your vision, what you need, like in hyper specific detail, right? I want to be a Grammy featured music producer. I am a Grammy featured music producer 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. Okay, you write it down. I don't know what happens. It happens. Then whatever you write down, it comes true. I've tried it again and again and again. And now I've got a bunch of my friends doing it. And Elle calls me. She's freaking out. She's like, I'm gonna have to cancel this tour. I'm like, Elle, here's what you're gonna do. I was like, you already have you have a huge following. You've got all these dates booked. You've done all the work. Now I was like, I know that there's a brand out there that would love to go on tour with you. I know that. Who wouldn't? Like, and then you can add me to this too. We just got the Grammy feature. Like, put that on there. Like, let's find a brand who wants to sponsor this tour, because it would be in their best interest to work with us. Like, you need to shift your mindset about this. I'm like, you shouldn't be paying for this. I'm like, somebody else needs to be paying for this. Somebody who actually has money and it isn't going to kill them to try and make this tour happen. Like,
right.
It's like the out of the lack mindset into the I have what people want mindset. And so I'm like, I need you to go write down my tour has been fully sponsored by the perfect partner. My tour has been fully sponsored by the perfect partner. And I'm like, and I need you to start thinking about who that would be. Who are some brands that you've worked with, that you've reached out to? And she reaches out to Victoria's Secret, Pink, and they end up sponsoring the whole tour.
Wow. That's incredible, because
And it happened in like 10
that,
days. It happened in like 10, because she's like, the tour is starting in like 2 weeks. She's like, I'm freaking out, total panic mode. And I'm like, nope, we literally focus on how it's going to work. It's the only way to get through these things, right? And it's one of the hardest things to do, like hands down. And yeah,
Yeah.
and now they're sponsoring her to go to Coachella, and now she's like an actual, full on partner with them.
Wow. That's incredible. That's really
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, because it's one of those things. I love how you said, you got to like change your mindset and be like, who wouldn't want to work with you? Like, I think that's such a hard thing for people to do. It's almost like if you have that imposter syndrome, like, I don't think I'm good enough to do this, or I get that all the time. And then it's like, well, why aren't you? I mean, you've been doing this for so long, and people like
Mhm.
what you're doing. But it's like the self-doubt is such a, for me, it's a huge character defect, and I think
Oh,
it's for a lot of people, it's hard.
on the daily. Like I struggle with this daily, minute by minute. Like I literally will text my friends and be like, da da da. And I'm like, I need you to say, shut up and tell me 3 things you're grateful for. Shut up and tell me 3 amazing things that you've made happen in the last year. Shut up. Like,
Yeah.
stop, because it's a lot of it also is like we end up in this echo chamber of people that want to just commiserate with us all the time. Like I will gladly sit there and be like, oh, everything is blah, blah, blah. And this, all the reasons that it can't work. But then it's like, can you and your friends, because it takes a village, because we're living in like such a fear-based society. Like, it's just, that is what it is. The majority of everything that's out there is very negative. And there is a lot of shitty things going on in the world that make you question the worthiness of you having a good life while so many other people are not. Right.
Right.
That's also like, why me? Like, why would I have a great life and while somebody else is like suffering? But it's like, I think the message that I want to spread is that everybody can have a good life. And it starts like with your mindset of like, do you think that you deserve to have a good life? For a long time, that's where you're going to get caught up. If you don't feel like you deserve it, you won't even go to the table.
Right. Yeah. Because if you have to have something drawing you to want, you have to have some like slight, like thing, no, like that you could possibly do it, right? Like
Right.
maybe I could do this.
Like, do you have the audacity? Like I literally started producing and I was like, I'm going to be a Grammy featured music producer. Like,
Right. You need like a little
if
bit of
I had,
willpower.
it's like delusion. I mean, you have to have a level, you have to be willing to be a level of delusional. And, I just, Childish Gambino just spoke on this, where he was just like, you have to print your script and your reality, because there are so many people that would love to tell you what to do, what to believe, how to live your life. There are a million, what's that saying? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got
Yeah,
one.
sure.
Like, I spent the majority of my life taking advice from people not living a life that I admire. And that was my biggest regret for the majority of like my early 20s, where I was just like so hungry for somebody to tell me what to do. And you can end up going like really far down the wrong path like that, right?
100%. Yeah, there's that saying or thing where it's like if you surround the 5 people you surround yourself with the most are the people that you're,
Yeah.
that's makes up of you. If you hang out with 5 degenerates, then you're probably going to be a degenerate, right? You know what I mean? Like it's you and 5 billionaires, maybe you got something going for you.
Right. And it's crazy because billionaires are down to hang out with you as long as you're cool. Like,
Right.
I've met a couple billionaires in the last couple of years. And like, I remember being like, wow, 5 years ago, I wouldn't even have even been able to like muster up like, why would they want to hear what I have to say? It's like really about you and what you like like we were just saying, do I think that I have value? Like, do I have something to offer these people? So that, no, but and I've been a degenerate. I've played both sides
Oh,
of the
so have I. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those things that you think about, like, oh, like, well, who am I surrounding myself with? Are these people doing what
right.
are they where I want to be? And I mean, I guess it's something that you come to terms with later in your life, but you're not. But still, I mean, it's so true in a
So
sense.
true. It's so true, because we're really, I mean, whether you want to believe it or not, like, you are so influenced by the people around you, like, it's very interesting, like the magnetism of nature and humans and people, and how if you like if you can pinpoint what it is that you want to see more of, like more of that will find you. But if you're pinpointing what you want to see, what you hate about your life and what you don't want to see more of, like those things are going to show up more because that's what you're looking at, you know?
Right. It's like if you buy a car, you're like, oh, I'm the only one that's going to own this, whatever. And then you'll see like 10.
And then you see like 10 of them. Yeah,
You're driving around.
exactly. It's that thing. But like, imagine doing that like with your whole life and being like, well, I'm this, you know, instead of, oh, I hate this, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's just changing your mindset.
Mhm.
When you say you write do you write the same thing down? So like, you're like, okay, I want to be featured on, what your Grammy thing, right? And you
Mhm.
write that down 3 times, then 6 times, and 9 times. And you're doing that every single day. You never
No,
change that
no.
path. Okay, I'm
I
confused.
do it like once a week. I'll pick like, you know, what's my manifestation for this week? Like what, and then you want to just focus on that. And I should do it every day, but I'm honestly just not even like mentally at that point where I can, because it does take a lot of energy to like sit there and like visualize it and you know. But no, I do it like once a week, depending on how big or like, you know, grand the manifestation is. Like I might have that same one for a couple weeks, or I might have it for a couple, you know, a couple months. Like I think I was writing the Grammy one down like once a week for like 3 months, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just crazy how it all happens. Like
Well, yeah, tell me about that. Like, so you're doing this and then it works out, right? I mean, that's crazy to think in the first place. And
it's crazy because like I wasn't
yeah.
doing like any, like, you know, I released an album or whatever. Like it was insane of me, the audacity for me to like be sitting here writing this. Like when I really I'm so new to the industry, you know, like, but it actually came from like Instagram. So I posted a thing after South by Southwest. I was just kind of like outing a lot of the things that I'd been through. I was like, you know what, I'm sick of staying silent. So many artists are getting screwed over all the time. Like, has
Mhm.
this ever, you know? So I post this thing about this lawyer and this PR company that totally screwed me over, like bad. Okay. I'm talking like the lady called my dad and was like, do you want your daughter to be successful? You need to give me $4,500 and
Damn.
for this PR campaign and da 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 da. And like my dad's like, well, you never went to college, so here's your money. Like this is the only thing you're ever gonna get from me. And so he puts this money up, and I'm opening for Lizzo, 2018 at Capitol Hill Block Party. It was the biggest show of my life. I'm releasing.
Damn, you got to open up for Lizzo. That's huge.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I ended up putting out this album, and the day that my album comes out, my dad had put this money up and it comes out and there's not a single piece of press about it. Not even a local channel, nothing,
Wow.
literally nothing. I just like, there was nothing I could do about it. And I end up, you know, I end up calling them out and being like, look, I have a collective of artists that I will make sure that like everybody knows what you did, you know, if you don't da 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 da. And I end up getting my money back, and like we agreed to just call it even or whatever.
Right.
But I've never worked with a PR company ever since then. And I posted this on Instagram just for no reason, just for like shits and giggles, because I was feeling sassy, you know. And at 5 minutes after, I have this guy reach out to me and he's like, I have been watching you for a while, a couple years, and like you are constantly out here hustling. Like I saw you just did a stage at South by Southwest. Like I feel like there are a lot of PR companies, you know, just kind of screw people over, and I want to kind of revive your faith in PR companies. So I'd love to send out your single to a couple people. So he connects me, or I send him the demo of 369.
Mhm.
Or I actually send it to Sam, and I'm like, okay, expecting nothing, literally nothing. And she gets back, she's like, the Grammys are interested. I was like,
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry, what? Like, I can't even tell you the level of shock, like, because it was so specific, you know, like of all the people. And it's not like I had asked or mentioned that at all. It was just such a confirmation that like that manifestation is real, you know, because there was no other explanation for how that went down. Like it was just this weird thing. A stranger on the internet hit me up and was like, I run a PR company. Like, I don't know, it was just crazy. And so now I'm a believer, and I want to just like spread that message to people, because it's like changed the way that I live my life and the things that I believe are possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. I never did
I'm
a
not
vision.
kidding. You should.
I will. I'm gonna start right now, like after this call. No, because that's wild. I did a vision board once, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna. And then like some of the stuff happened, right? And you're like, no idea how
And then
that.
you talk yourself out of it. You're like, there's no way. Like, this is just too da 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 da.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
no one-
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, wait, what if, oh, my light just died. Like, what if magic is real? You know, like if all the monsters are real, why can't like the angels be real too? You know what I mean? Like, you have to believe in both. Like, you can't just believe in the dark side of things. Like, what if there actually is like really beautiful, like magical, beautiful things that could happen?
Yeah. So 369 is about this whole, mantra manifestation.
Yeah. So yes. So we actually wrote 369 about, I met one of my idols in February randomly at a bar in Hollywood. Like Amy
Who?
Winehouse, if she was alive, would be
I thought you were gonna say I met Amy Winehouse and be like, oh,
can you imagine?
sorry, that was just somebody on the like one of those street
Yeah,
performers in Hollywood.
that was a lookalike. And so,
Well, can you tell us who this person is or no?
No, I probably won't quite yet.
Okay.
But he's definitely somebody that I've stayed in touch with and has like given me mentorship on Dream Girl, and it was just wild because I had 369 meeting him, where I was like, one day I'll have a song with blah, blah, blah. One day I'll have a song with blah, blah, blah. One day I'll have a song with this specific person. And then so I told Elle this, and she's like, that's crazy. And I was like, I know, but we should write a song about it. So we're writing it, I dream it, I see it, believe it, receive it, never a limit to how much I'm winning. I wrote it. I know that I own it. Nothing but faith in the universe. And we wrote the song in like an hour, and then I produced the demo, and then she was like, what's going to be your next 369? And I was like, I don't know, maybe the song gets featured by the Grammys. And she was like, that's crazy. And I was like, I know. Yeah. So
wow.
I highly recommend that everybody tries it. Like, I'm not trying to gatekeep ever. Like, this is something that anybody can do. And it's now not only worked for me, it worked for Elle for her tour. It's worked for a lot of my friends. It's just a life hack, like in the best way and the easiest, and it's free. It's like, all you have to do is write and believe, it sounds crazy, but
that's wild. Wow. Are you doing one right now? I don't want to spoil it, but
yes. No, my current 369 is the Dream Girl bag is a worldwide success and has changed how artists create forever.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you're doing well. Didn't it sell out already, or one of them sold out?
Our pre-sales sold out. So we did a small batch order, right? So these will be the first owners of the bag, and we want to just like, they'll be our test group basically, like, and from there we're mass production, baby. Let's go.
That's cool. Very cool. And you have an album. I know the song just, didn't come out that long ago, but is the album done, or is it you're still working on it?
It is very much a work in progress. So, yeah, it's going to be 11 songs. And the album's called Simulation. And the reason it's called Simulation is because these are all songs about moments in my life where my reality was never the same. So like, like that's the South by Southwest thing. Like nothing has ever been the same since then. I have a song on there called Mama that I've never written a song about my mom's addiction. And my life was never the same after that. Like these moments that were like, whether good or bad, were like, they altered, they threw me into a new simulation, basically. Like, all right, new timeline, like everything is different. I'm just very into my metaphysical topics right now.
That's cool. That's really exciting. So it's a work in progress. So you probably don't have a date on it or anything like that, but
no, but next single will be out shortly. just kind of putting the whole thing together. Yeah, is because it's not just an album. It'll also be like my very first NFT collection.
Oh, cool.
So I've been going around and taking Polaroids of every location where these life-changing moments happened. And so the Polaroid will be the NFT that the person gets to own. And so, you know me, I love to throw events. So all my NFT holders, like people who own these like moments of my life, will throw like a really special dinner party plus a show, and just for those people. And so I'm just like kind of like trying to put it all the pieces together. But yeah, definitely a lot to look forward to. Very
That's
excited.
exciting. And thank you so much, Scarlett, for doing this. I appreciate it.
I mean, are you kidding? I'm a big fan of American Songwriter. I love your podcast. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have one more question for you before I let you go. I want to know if you've been kind of doing this the whole time, I guess. Advice for aspiring artists.
Yes, advice for aspiring artists. Don't take advice from somebody not living the life that you want. Like that is just number one. Like there is going to be a million people as you continue on your journey who want to promise you the world. And you need to ask yourself, is the world that they're promising you a world that you want? And also to just be delusional as fuck. Like trust that I don't care where you came from. I don't care what the amount of money in your bank account. I don't care what's happened. Like there's nothing that could ever prevent you from having the life that you want, except for your belief in yourself. And it's so cheesy, you know, it's been overplayed. We've all seen the posters in our elementary school classroom, like if you can see it, you can be it or whatever. But it's true, you know. And so I think just stop overcomplicating it and just make your art something that is so real to you, because if it's real to you, it's going to be real to somebody else. And stop creating for other people to validate you, and just create because it's what you were put on the earth to do.